Hello, dreamers, and welcome back. And if you are new, welcome. Again, we have a full house, a meeting. We have four teenagers and two dogs. Pisces, you're looking like a hot mess this month. Your energy is kind of like all over the place. There's something about like needing to clean yourself up, cleaning up your image, but it's funny because like you may be looking like a hot mess to everybody else, like you're scattered or you're making like I don't know. Somebody's perceiving you as a little chaotic or a little crazy, but in the reality of it all, you're making it rain. You're making money. Maybe this is why you look a little like a hot mess is because of all the hours that you're putting into something, all the hours that you're putting into like a project or you're putting into work. But there is this sense of like I'm not gonna lie, you look like but you bringing in that money, you're bringing in the money. So whatever that is for you, it's like it's working for you, but people are really like looking at you and they're like, oh my god, Pisces, you're like overworking yourself, you're overextending yourself or whatever it is, but that money is coming in. So I don't know. Okay, I don't know because I cannot tell you I cannot tell you how much money you need, and I cannot tell you to stop making that money because, there are seasons where it's dry, right? And it's like, it doesn't matter how much you hustle, like nothing is coming in. And then there's seasons where you barely hustle and it's just flowing in, right? So I don't know where you are personally at this moment in time in your own life. So if this is what you feel like you need to do, like you have to like over extend yourself or you have to overwork or whatever it is, at least take let's just put it this way, because I guess I feel that if I were to say you can take a break, you can take a step back, you can cut down on some hours. A lot of you are like like no. So what I'm going to say is that um is make sure that you're taking like at least 10 or 15 minutes a day to do some self-care. Make sure that your socks are matching, your shoes are matching, that you're not walking out of the house with different types of shoes. That those little type of things. Let's get yourself grounded before you get your day started. That's really pretty much the main thing that I can say towards you guys. Because again, for some of you, this is that you guys are returning to the workforce, or you finally have the job or the career of your dreams. So there you're trying to soak it all in. So stepping back or falling back or taking it slow or whatever is not an option for you at this moment in time. And that is perfectly fine. There's no judgment here. The only thing that I would say is that there needs to be, and this is non-negotiable, Pisces, there needs to be some type of grounding ritual that you do before you get started. So that as you're making it rain, as you're making all this money, as you're progressing, as it's growing, as your bank account is getting fatter and bigger, you are not looking like a complete mess. Because again, it's noticeable that you are overextending yourself or that you're overworking. So, there are, and again, there are times that are like that where you're more in demand, or your job, your career, whatever it is more in demand than usual, right? um but then there's also things that we can do during those times to help ourselves not look like we are a complete mess, right? Not to look like we are a completely like hot mess. And that's kind of like the energy that is coming in for you. Again, for some of you, this is multiple streams of income. Just make sure that you're not allowing schedules to overlap with each other. If you are somebody that has multiple streams of income, like if you work in multiple places or something like that. Excuse me, guys. Whew. All right, let's see. But other than that, there is really um, there's really not a lot here that is like as far as like blocking you or anything like that. There is a sense of like there's somebody from your past that is still connected to you. Um, and what I mean by that, it's like you may have not been thinking about this person, but like it feels like all of a sudden you can't get them out of your mind. It almost feels like you're, and again, this is what it feels like to you, like you're tele, uh, telepathic telepathic communication, like telepathic communication, like you're having telepathic communication with this person. um and and I feel that the reason why you're feeling this energy, like, or like you're communicating with them telepathically, is because this person is wanting to reach out to you, and maybe you have them blocked, and maybe you have deleted your social media. There's something here of like somebody trying to get in contact with you and not being able to. And I don't know if you ended. Why are you hitting me, buddy? Why are you hitting me? He hitting me. He went like this with his paw. I think he just wants me to shut up. And I don't know. For some reason, they're showing me like an Easter egg. So maybe you ended things with this person like around Easter. Easter was something that you guys did something together with, or I don't know, something that has to do with Easter. But what I'm trying to say is that this person really wants to communicate with you. This person really wants to reach out, but it's almost kind of like you have them blocked everywhere. Um, would it be a good idea to unblock them and start this conversation again, or to start to rekindle stuff with this person? Um, that depends. Are you ready for round two? Are you ready to relive like, I'm being honest, like, for everybody that, like, people from the past have been coming up, you're being straight, like, told, like, it's coming straight up, like, no, no, let that be where it is at. um but again, right there, it's not up to me to choose for you, right? If you do choose to rekindle things, or you do choose to give this person another chance, you're going in a circle, and you're gonna end up in the same place, the same time frame, the same everything. There's nothing changing there, so you do with that information whatever you may. um what is that called? I know, I see it, but I don't know what it's called. And so this is what I'm seeing, the Ankh um symbol, but it's weird because it's, so the Ankh symbol, right? But here, this part that looks like a little, I say it's like a little stick figure. This part that looks like a head, it's a snake. Snakes have been coming up a lot. I don't know why, but I mean, I love snakes, but that's beyond. I always loved snakes. That's nothing new. Been here, but yeah. So the way that they're showing it to me is like the Ankh symbol, but this right here is like it's a snake. It's a snake. I don't know who that is for. Why is it coming up that way? But just know that it's there, and it's almost the eye of it. This is why I say that I need to learn how to draw, right? Because is that with the eye of, what is it called? The eye of Horus. The eye of Horus. Horus. That's what you say, I think. But it's intertwined because it's like it's together, if that makes sense. So the eye of Horus with the Ankh symbol, but that loopy part of it is like a snake. So the eye of Horus, it represents healing, protection, and well-being, and the Ankh symbol represents what? Get off there. Life, or the breath of life. So again, there is a sense with you guys. you're manifesting a lot of money. You're work, and I'm not saying that it's coming out of like thin air, because I feel like that a lot of you are working really really hard. Whatever those symbols symbolize, like whatever it is that you're connected to, if those symbols apply to you, maybe is like getting some in a necklace, as far as like having it as a protection or something like that. Or maybe this is the energy force that is behind this overworking energy that you're in. Anything else the Pisces needs to know? So we have communication here is very important. But communication with whom, Spirit? Communication with whom? There's another snake showing up. Communication with yourself, communication as to what it is that you feel that you can take on. Don't listen. Okay, let's put it this way. Just because you're doing a lot, and I put it in quotations, it may seem like it's a lot to other people. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a lot to you. So for somebody, working 3 hours a day is a lot, right? And where other people can pull like a 16-hour shift like there's no tomorrow. And there's also different stages of your life where that may be true, right? Maybe you used to only be able to work 3 hours and now you can do 8 hours, right? Or vice versa. But there's an energy here like where to others you're overextending yourself or you're overworking yourself, but it's like the only person that you have to clarify what that is with yourself. Like, am I okay with what I'm doing? Am I feeling okay? Am I feeling drained, right? So like sometimes when I'm doing this type of work, I can see clients like back to back. I can go on for like hours. I can go on what feels like days, right? I can put like a 16, 18, 20 hour day of like just being in this energy, and it doesn't even feel like, it feels like I'm doing it for like an hour or two, right? And that is just like the energy, the wave that I am in during that time. And then there's days where I do an hour of like energy work and I feel drained, and it's like, nah, my spirit, like I need to just sleep, right? And it's almost kind of like that, like check in with yourself and see what it is that your spirit is asking you to do. Because again, to other people you may seem like you're a complete hot mess because you're doing so much, or you're working so much, or you're spending so much time in a project or whatever it is. But it may not be that, like it's not necessarily that for everyone else. So like, let's put it this way. I wanted to do something in my kitchen. Like there was a wall where I wanted to take the cabinets and I want to do a pantry. And I was telling my dad, and this was something like I told him, I think it was like on Christmas Eve. I was like, oh yeah, I want to do this. And I showed him a drawing of what I want to do. And he just goes to the basement and grabs some stuff and he starts to take my cabinets off. He's just gutting the entire wall. I'm looking at him and I'm like, I thought I was gonna do this like after New Year. So my kitchen is like a hot mess right now, but it is what it is. But it's funny because then my kids are like, oh, but isn't Papa this age? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, and you have him. And I'm like, I don't have him doing anything. I told him what I wanted to do and he took the initiative and he started doing it. And yeah, if you see my dad, he looks like he's like 15, 20 years younger than what he actually is. But it's because he is that active. But the reason why I'm bringing up that story is like, because if people were to just hear his age and don't physically see him and don't see how he is, like how he takes care of himself, how he eats, how he exercises, then to somebody knowing like his actual age would be like, oh my God, that is way too much for somebody his age and doing something like that, when in reality for him it's not, because his body, his mentality can handle it. All right, so let's go ahead. What is the advice for Pisces as they're going through this energy of making it rain financially, but people think that they are looking a hot mess? Number 26, feather. Think first before you judge. So there is an energy here. Again, no, I don't feel that anybody is, even though you're being judged because of what you're doing, I don't think that it's coming from an ill place. So be very careful that you're not judging these people thinking that they're jealous of you or anything like that. For some of these individuals, this is genuinely just concern for your health. Did you commit to lifting up one of your sisters only to drop her down into a blaze? Examine the situation. Is your judgment justified, or is society tricking you into your stance? After all, it does have a habit of making you believe that other girls are your competition and that they must behave perfectly at all times. Step back and take the time to figure it out. It is not always clear at first, instead of acting rashly. So, again, because people are coming up to you and are like, oh my God, you're overextending yourself, you're doing too much, this and this and that. Don't automatically assume that people are jealous or people are envy or anything like that. For some of these people, they're generally concerned that you are overextending yourself. So just be aware of that. So don't fall into the trap of quickly judging them just because they're judging you on what it is that you're choosing to do during this time. Well, guys, that is all that I have. As always, thank you for your love and support. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and do so. We would love to have you. Sending every single one of you love, strength, and blessing, guys. Take care. Love you all.